For many years, Ares was seen as the most problematic and insignificant god of the whole Olympus, because on several occasions, he caused great disasters that destabilized the kingdom of his father. Many gods complained to Zeus about the violent behavior of his son Ares, and demanded that he be punished to straighten him out, and that he be a more sensible and wise god, like his sister, the goddess Athena. Ares and Athena shared the same gift, being gods of war. However, they were sibling rivals, for Ares' terrible behavior showed the opposite of the goddess. It showed the dark side of war, violence, death, the bloody and hostile side of war. While the goddess Athena possessed the gift of wisdom, and her temperament was that of justice, the opposite of her brother Ares. From an early age the siblings proved to have a great rivalry, so much so that it led Athena to sabotage several of her brother's conflicts. When Zeus ordered to populate the earth, and especially when he approved the creation of man, his son, the god of war, totally disagreed. He did not like the idea of having inferior beings similar to the gods. And although Zeus told him that the new beings of the earth would serve the gods, Ares did not share the idea and challenged him. For a long time Ares had maintained serious conflicts with his father, because apart from not giving him support, he always chose his sister Athena over him, even saying that the goddess was much better. Thus over the years these confrontations and challenges were increasingly dangerous and severe, as rivalry and resentment grew. Ares addressed the Olympus saying that his father's creation was a complete atrocity, and they should understand how perverse it was. But no god took him into account, because his bad reputation discredited him. Thus, from that humiliated day, full of impotence and contempt, he vowed to do away with Olympus, with the gods, with his father and with his beloved creation. Ares began to undertake long journeys from city to city with his faithful companions, Phobos, god of horror, Deimos, god of terror, and Aeneas, goddess of destruction. They were always in search of hostile adventures, where they plundered and destroyed entire cities, just as Ares was the promoter of great battles that sought to destroy the kingdom of his father. Zeus, witnessing the horrible behavior of his son, even despised him, because he was not a good element for the Olympus, and rejected his own offspring, saying that his explosive temperament and conflict unfortunately he inherited from his mother. Likewise, on several occasions the confrontations between Zeus and Ares were extremely devastating, but Athena was always at her father's back and fervently confronted her brother, attacking him until he was seriously wounded. However, Zeus and Athena could never finish with Ares, because in spite of everything he was her blood. Ares held firm his thirst for revenge in conflict against his father, so for years he planned great strategies that would lead to his victory over Zeus and Olympus. Thus, together with his faithful warrior companions, he planned a bloody battle on Earth, inciting humans to fight each other, where 3 immense rivers were painted red by the cruel bloodshed, due to the intervention of Ares. This fact infuriated Zeus so much that he called all the gods of Olympus to order the destruction of his son forever, in this way to get rid of the unnecessary conflicts he caused. He had corrupted mankind with violence, horror, desire for war, and was driving his extermination, plundering cities and killing good men, so that all the gods of the pantheon were extremely angry and supported the death of Ares, declaring war on him. Zeus ordered the gods to stop the evil and destruction of Ares, and so the gods descended one by one to the earth in search of the corrupt god who for years was breaking the divine laws. Thus, the whole Olympus was against Ares, who was always accompanied by Phobos, Deimos and Aeneas who supported him, since they were gods as hostile as he was. The war had begun, and Ares was determined to terrorize the earth until the end of humanity, and he would do it over everyone, even over his father Zeus. The god of war, aware of the declaration of war, decided to prepare himself and wait for his defiant enemies to reach him. Soon, the gods arrived full of anger with their best weapons and with the desire to kill the mad god. However, Ares impressed his opponents, because he unleashed his great power as never seen before, so many gods were afraid to face him. Ares had revealed a hidden force that made him an unbeatable and indestructible god, so he fought with all the gods of Olympus, and defeated them all immediately, waiting for the turn of his father Zeus. Looking up to the sky, Ares waited for the first blow from Zeus, who remained on Olympus watching the dispute of the gods. With sadness, he watched as his companions were annihilated by the one he least expected, the so-called least skilled god, the weakest Ares. After you are destroyed by my hands, you will never set foot on Olympus again. You will not be welcome anywhere on earth, and your fate will be in Tartarus, Zeus told him from his abode. I await you, father. Come, present yourself for battle, for this is the end of the gods and the end of Olympus, said the god, flashing a macabre smile. Zeus, confident in his great power, descended from Olympus. Thinking of his triumph, Ares immediately put on his guard, and wished with all his being the death of his father. Thus, when they met face to face, they looked at each other with contempt, aware that the battle between them would be so devastating that it might destroy everything created. The god of war lunged towards Zeus, trying to thrust his mighty sword at him, but the wily god safely dodged it by hitting him back a few times. But Ares did not even falter and continued the fight. Both gods were demonstrating their great power, but Ares was proving that his father had been wrong about him, thus telling him that he was even better than Athena, his favorite daughter, and that because of his contempt and lack of support the consequences would be devastating. For Zeus, Athena was his most beloved and trusted daughter, for unlike Ares, she sought peace, so his son's hurtful words filled him with anger. Had you not been my son many years ago, I would have locked you in Tartarus, said Zeus, staring at Ares. However, Ares completely ignored him and continued to hit him with all his strength. So Zeus hit a great cry from beyond the grave, and a huge lightning bolt illuminated the sky and echoed throughout the universe. Even so, his opponent did not even blink. Ares was highly motivated because no one could interfere in the battle, and at last his victory would be a fact. He attacked Zeus with fury, until after a long confrontation, he managed to wound him with his sword in a small carelessness of the god. Zeus had been hurt by his most underestimated son, his son who never thought he would do anything in his whole life, and so on the ground humiliated the god begged for peace. With a huge laugh, Ares mocked the great god of Olympus, the king of the gods who for generations extorted and exploited others for his benefit, and thus glorifying himself, he turned to his father and said, So, do you want peace? The only thing that awaits you is death, and all that you have created will eventually be destroyed. Despite the disastrous state in which Zeus was, he had not yet lost his throne, and although he was hurt he tried to get up. The sky became dark, his moans were so loud that they seemed chilling thunder from Tartarus, and when he could finally stand up, he raised his eyes and said, The world deserves peace. After everything that has happened, Olympus is about to collapse because of you. Tell me, what do you want to end this, and I will give it to you. Ares was aware that the fight could go on for hundreds of years until he saw his father finished, so he thought of a strategy to be able to solve and fulfill his revenge. The only way this battle will end is if you fulfill my conditions. From today you and no one else will be able to interfere in the affairs of the humans, nor will you ever again take advantage of them, defend them, or placate their conflicts. From today, you and all the gods must keep away from men, away from the earth, away from creation. Only then will I leave you free on your throne, and so also Olympus. Zeus was in despair, so he could do nothing but accept his son's conditions, and with great regret he told him that he agreed. The king of the gods ascended to Olympus, and with great sorrow and grief he bade farewell to the world, closing the gates that connected Olympus and earth forever.